Good day, everyone. We are the Group 7 and we will be discussing the Chapter 9 of the Philippine Tourism Laws book by Daning Cabulay and Christine Aldeguer. The rules and regulations to govern accreditation of travel and tourist services. Section 1. Tour operator shall mean an entity which may be either a single proprietorship, partnership, or corporation, regularly engaged in the business of extending to individuals or groups such services pertaining to arrangements and bookings for transportation or accommodation, handling or conduct of inbound tours whether or not for a fee, commission, or any form of compensation. Tour guide shall mean an individual who guides tourists, both foreign and domestic, for a fee, commission, or any lawful remuneration. For its brief description, a travel agency is a private or public retailer which provides travel and tourism services to the public. One of its several products and services is to give assistance to the valued clients in terms of travel documents, such as passport processing and visa assistance. So in passport processing, a law was being enacted named as Republic Act No. 8239, or also known as Philippine Passport Act of 1996. A passport is a document issued by a Philippine government to its fellow citizens to allow the said citizens to pass safely and freely, and in case of need to give the citizen all lawful aid and protection as mentioned in Section 3 of the said law. For instance, Giancarlo Capco will be traveling to the United States to compete in an international business plan competition in Massachusetts. His old passport is expiring soon and he needs a renewal of his U.S. multiple entry visa. Can Giancarlo avail the services of a travel agency? What services can a travel agency offer him? The legal opinion for this: in order to save time and to be properly guided, Giancarlo can avail of the following services of a travel agency. First, the passport renewal assistance. Second, U.S. visa renewal assistance. Third, the airline ticketing. And last is the hotel reservations. Section 2. The following may apply for accreditation as tour operator. Letter A, a resident Filipino citizen. Then, a partnership organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% of its capital being owned by Filipino citizens. And last, corporations organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% of the subscribed common or voting shares of stocks of which is owned by Filipino citizens, and the composition of its board of directors being at least 60% Filipinos. For the brief description, this clearly means that only Filipino citizens can become a tour operator as per mentioned in the law. In relation to being a tour operator, the law is stating that there must be at least 60% of its capital in terms of partnership, and at least 60% of the subscribed common is still owned by Filipino citizens, together with the composition of its board of directors being at least 60% Filipinos. Thus, above all, only Filipinos can become a tour operator, specifically in our country, the Philippines. For example, an American citizen is planning to set up her own business or the travel management company in the Philippines. She is Andrea and she wants to have partnership with her college friends Nicole and Dahlia, whom are Filipino citizens. They have agreed that Andrea will give 70% of the capital as her share and Nicole will give only 15% of the working capital as well as Dahlia. After 1 year of preparation, The agency is already set and ready for business, but they cannot start to operate as the TMC is not yet accredited by the Department of Tourism. In this case, can they apply for the accreditation as tour operator? And what are the possible things that they need to consider before applying for accreditation? So for the legal opinion of this, as mentioned in the law, a partnership organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% of its capital is being owned by Filipino citizens. But in the case that we have given, only 15% was given by the Filipino citizens named by Nicole and Dahlia, and 70% was being given by the Andrea, an American citizen. So it is not that possible that their agency or their business will be accredited by the Department of Tourism. Section 3. For purposes of accreditation, reflected in the screen are the following supporting documents to be submitted with the applications. So for the brief description, when we say accredit, this means approve or qualified. So in tourism industry, there are several supporting documents in taking the DOT accreditation. The said accreditation is the document issued coming from the government that clearly states that your agency had qualified the standards that an agency should in order to give satisfaction to the customers. For example, Oswald Tan wanted to put up his own self-managed travel agency named as Sunflower Travel, a single proprietorship during the month of January. He has practically complies with all requirements except one. His bachelor's degree is chemical engineering at Mapua Institute of Technology. This may pose a problem in his application for accreditation with the department. Why is this a problem? What is your recommended solution? The legal opinion for this? For DOT accreditation purposes, it is desirable for an entrepreneur of a travel agency as BS Tourism graduate. However, an acceptable qualification for travel agency owners is a completion of a seminar on travel agency operations. Alternatively, Mr. Tan can hire a manager who has either BS Tourism degree or has 3 years managerial experiences in a travel agency. Section 4. Additional requirements for tour operator using a motor vehicle. No tour operator shall use any motor vehicle while conducting tours or transporting tourists unless such motor vehicle is accredited with the department and sporting a tourist plate. Section 4 means that an agency can only use a motor vehicle if accredited by the Department of Tourism, and for safety purposes, it is better to use those vehicles that are accredited by the said department upon having a tour. For example, Miss Chuchi, Travel and Tour Operations Manager of Keg Travel and Tour, had a twin city tour. One time, on the second day, as they were about to embark into the van, they saw a flat tire. Because time is running then, instead of the van from Natalie, Miss Chuchi used their own van. Kuya Tamtam was the driver, in which both the van and the driver are not accredited by the Department of Tourism. Is it okay to use Miss Chuchi's van instead of the accredited van because of the reason that they don't want to get behind on the itinerary? Legal opinion, it's no, because as per mentioned in the law, only those accredited vehicles must be used in taking the tour. Instead of using the van owned by Miss Chuchi, why not call the bus company and ask to replace the van that they are using for the tour? It could be safer since Natalie Tours is an accredited bus by the Department of Tourism. Section 5. Minimum office requirements. The tour operator shall comply with the following office requirements. Letter A. It shall be located in a commercial district and not in a residential district. Letter B. It must be easily identifiable and shall be used exclusively for the tour operation business. Means that the travel agencies should be in a commercial district so that everybody or the public can notice easily where the agency is located. And of course, an agency must be spotted as well in an area where it is accessible enough and must be in a good atmosphere. For instance, Jen, the owner of Prime Travel and Tours, got a meeting with the fellow travel agency heads together with the DOT regional director. Jen planned to transfer her office because she was just renting the place, and as the time went by, the rate for the rent is getting higher. Is it applicable to transfer to another place? The answer is yes. It is applicable as long as her office is identifiable and can be spotted at the corporate district. But still, she should submit supporting documents regarding for transferring her office and should still follow the required area that the travel agency should.
Section 9. Requirements for issuance of accreditation. An applicant for accreditation as tour guide shall submit the following. First, proof that the applicant has passed a seminar for tour guides duly conducted by the Department of Tourism or other agencies duly authorized by the department to conduct the seminar. Second, certificate of good health issued by any duly accredited government physician. Third, clearance from the National Bureau of Investigation. In the case of alien applicants, valid visa from the Bureau of Immigration and the proper permit from the Department of Labor and Employment. Fourth, mayor's permit or municipal license. Fifth, latest income tax return and such other documents that the department may require from time to time. What does the law mean? Tour guide is a person who guides visitors in the language of their choice and interprets the cultural and natural heritage of an area. In order for a tour guide to be accredited, he or she must comply the following requirements of the Department of Tourism. Being an accredited tour guide, there are a lot of benefits and privileges given by the department. It is vital that an accredited tour guide must have passed a seminar for tour guides duly conducted by the Department of Tourism of its duly authorized agencies. Cylene, a fresh graduate with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Tourism, is seeking accreditation as licensed tour guide. She already complied other requirements of the Department of Tourism except from passing the seminar. Can Cylene proceed to seek accreditation as licensed tour guide? For the legal opinion, failure to comply at least one of the requirements cannot proceed to accreditation as licensed tour guide. On Cylene's case, she has not fully complied the requirements of the Department of Tourism. That is why she cannot proceed to seek accreditation as licensed tour guide. It is vital that the applicant must pass the seminar for the tour guides of the Department of Tourism or duly authorized agencies. Responsibilities of business entities engaged in travel and tour services. Travel agencies need to take necessary precaution by exercising prudence and due diligence at all times. Prudence is a careful good judgment that allows someone to avoid in danger or risk. The law clearly means that travel agencies acting as tour operator and tour guides have responsibilities to the tourist. They must be liable to anticipate the possible needs and problems of the tourist instead of waiting for them to bring it to his attention. It is their utmost responsibility to secure the safety of the tourist. Failure to exercise prudence and due diligence in the supervision of its employees may hold the tour operator and the tour guide liable for moral and exemplary damages by reason of the anxiety caused to tourists. For example, Ms. Beltran went to 7A Travel Corporation to inquire for such services. Ms. Beltran asked about the tour package for Coron, Palawan, 4 days and 3 nights, good for 5 packs. The agent directly gave the proposed package to Ms. Beltran and she agreed with it. Saturday morning, Ms. Beltran and her friends departed from Cebu to Coron. At first, they enjoyed the trip as the tour guides were friendly. On their second day, Ms. Beltran and her friends get anxious because the tour escort, which is also the tour operator of 7A Travel Corporation, and the tour guides did not assist them going to other destinations in Palawan, and found out that the tour guides and tour operator already left them. And the worst thing is, they expected to go to different beaches, but instead, the coach captain bring them into a farm, falls, and plaza as the itinerary was not handed to the coach captain. For the legal opinion, for failure to exercise diligence and prudence, 7A Travel Corporation and the tour guides must be liable for the serious anxiety caused to Ms. Beltran and her friends.
Prohibition against engaging in recruitment activities. According to the Labor Code of the Philippines, Article 26, travel agencies are prohibited to recruit. Travel agencies and sales agencies of airline companies are prohibited from engaging in the business of recruitment and placement of workers for overseas employment, whether for profit or not. Travel agencies are simply not allowed to participate in the recruitment and placement of Filipino to work overseas. They are only allowed to issue the tickets of passengers. Recruitment and placement of Filipino workers lies in the hands of the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration under the Department of Labor and Employment. For example, Thalia is a usual customer at 123 Travel Agency. After she purchased a ticket, the travel agent asked her if she would like to join her and some customers for a job in the US that their travel manager has been offering. Is the agent allowed to do so? Answer is no, as it would be against the Article 26 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. And if so happens to you, report it to the POE for illegal recruitment or the PNP and NBI. E-ticketing and e-commerce. Republic Act No. 8792, or also known as the Electronic Commerce Act. This law is about the state recognizing the vital role of information and communication technology in nation building. It includes the usage of electronic documents. An electronic document is a virtual representation of information that is stored electronically. They are the same functional equivalent to any other document or those in legal writing, provided that it has been authenticated. For example, Thalia purchased and printed an e-ticket herself. On the day of the flight, she misplaced her printed ticket. Can Thalia reprint another ticket? Answer is yes. E-tickets are impossible to lose because they reside in the computer database network. For this reason, they are hard to steal as well. Passengers typically print out copies of their e-ticket, including confirmation emails, itineraries, and other documents. All those documents can be replaced by pulling them out of the computer again, and only a person with the proper identification can actually use the e-ticket.